Welcome to the program. We begin this hour in Japan, where the new governor of Tokyo has been announced in a win that could be the clearest sign yet that Japan is ready to restart its nuclear power industry.
Well, the victor, Yoichi Masuzo, campaigned for nuclear reactors to be switched on again following the Fukushima disaster. A warning, there's flash photography in Nicola Carroll's report.
16 candidates fought a two-week campaign to become the chief executive of a city of 13 million people. But in the end, it came down to one. Yoichi Masuzo won by a clear margin, 30% compared to his rivals' 20%.
I will do everything I can to make Tokyo City the #1 city in the world and meet everyone's expectations. I would like to steer the Tokyo Metropolitan Government going forward with that feeling in mind.
But it's believed this wasn't just a popularity vote, but a verdict on the use of nuclear power. A hot topic following the Fukushima nuclear disaster in 2011, but important now because Japan's Prime Minister wants to restart the country's nuclear reactors, an issue Mr. Masuzo supports, but one his main rival disagrees on.
Looking at the vote forecasts this time, the votes against nuclear power were split. But if you add them together, I believe it very clearly shows the will of the people of Tokyo, that they do not want nuclear power to restart.
Turnout in Tokyo was low, as the capital, like much of Japan, is enveloped in its heaviest snowfall in decades. The weather being to blame for at least 11 deaths and hundreds of injuries. But for those who did vote, the snow or nuclear power wasn't necessarily at the front of their mind.
Tokyo governor elections should be about the governance of the city, rather than nuclear power. That's what concerns me as a Tokyo citizen. I personally thought they were missing the point.
So for now, all eyes will be on Mr. Masuzo, not just because he'll be planning for the 2020 Olympics, but whether he'll actually have any say over the future of nuclear power. Nicola Carroll, BBC News.
Well, with me is Philip Howard, Director at GR Japan, a government relations and public affairs firm. He's also a former British diplomat who has been dealing with the Japanese government and business there for 15 years. Philip, good to see you.
Thank you.
We're very much hearing that this announcement is being seen as a bit of a popular verdict regarding the use of nuclear power. Do you see it along those lines?
Not to the extent that's been written about, I think. If you actually look at the polling coming out of Japan, where they asked the Tokyo electorate what was the key issue for you, it's not the nuclear issue that came first. It was the economy, energy was second, and welfare was a very close third. So it's one of the top three, but it wasn't the major subject for Tokyoites. Hosokawa, the clearly anti-nuclear, the most clearly anti-nuclear candidate, explaining his loss, said that it was because he couldn't turn it into a referendum on nuclear power. And I do suspect that if you actually had a referendum that clearly asked that question, you would have got a different answer. So it's not necessarily as clear, I think, as it's been made out to be.
Just on that point, what answer do you think we would have got if it was about that issue?
Well,
because
the polls,
it's a contentious one, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The polls do consistently show some sort of lead for a relatively anti-nuclear position, whether that be phasing it out or elimination, the wording. It depends on the wording. But what's been interesting in all elections, this election as well, is that it's not, despite that, it's not the anti-nuclear candidates which win. So we saw that in the upper house election earlier this year. We saw it also or rather last year, and in December 2012 in the House of Representatives election that brought Abe to power. Even though at that time the polls were very clear that the public apparently wanted out of nuclear power, it was the only pro-nuclear party that won the election. And what's happened then as now, I think, is that the anti-nuclear vote has been very much split.
Yeah, and it is along those lines that we know that Shinzo Abe has very much said that is his mandate for the year or the years to come, if you like. Looking at that then, here we have this new governor in charge of, 13 million people in the city of Tokyo. The relationship between these two men, pretty crucial. How do you see it panning out? Well,
Masuzo was the man with Abe's backing, and he was the man with the backing of the LDP. So this is definitely the preferred outcome for the Prime Minister. Also, I think, for the Tokyo Metropolitan Assembly. They had a hard time working at times with the previous governor, Inose. And it will be, I think, a lot easier, at least to start with Masuzo. When he was the Minister of Health, Labour and Welfare, He had a reputation of being somebody that was easy to work with. Certainly those in the ministry found him very easy to work with. Cynics might say easy to control. But I think with Abe as well, the other thing to say is that they owe each other. Both of them have helped each other out here a great deal. Massasoit, by winning, has really removed any chance of there being a platform for the opposition or the anti-nuclear campaign to re-enter the dialogue in Japanese politics. At the moment, they have no way really to air their voice, and they've done each other a big favour here.
Always feels quite uncomfortable when you say that they owe each other in political terms, but yeah, fascinating to talk to you, Philip. Thank you so much for talking us through that. Philip Howard there, thank you.